Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei delivered a strongly worded speech in Tehran on August 24, directly attacking the United States and Israel while rejecting calls for renewed dialogue with Washington, at a time when nuclear diplomacy is once again at a crossroads. Speaking before a large audience, Khamenei said that negotiations with America are unsolvable because the U.S., in his words, demands obedience rather than partnership, an approach he described as a deep insult to the Iranian people who, he insisted, will resist with all their strength. He ridiculed voices inside and outside Iran who argue for moderation or advise against anti-American slogans, calling them superficial and insisting the real issue is not hostility caused by words, but Washington's ambition to dominate Iran and reshape the region. He claimed that after U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities during the 12-day war in June, Western governments were so confident of Iran's collapse that they actually discussed how the country would be ruled afterward, even considering the restoration of a monarchy. Khamenei further turned his focus on Israel, labeling it the most hated regime in the world, and praising the Houthis in Yemen for striking at Israeli targets, declaring that all channels of support to Tel Aviv must be blocked. His comments underscore the broader narrative that Iran sees itself locked in a struggle for survival against the U.S. and its allies, framing resistance as both a religious and national duty. The timing of this speech is significant. Iran had suspended nuclear talks with the U.S. after June strikes but just days ago agreed with Britain, France, and Germany to try to restart dialogue on curbing its nuclear enrichment program. European states have warned they may trigger a UN sanctions snapback if Tehran fails to return to serious talks, something that could isolate Iran's economy further. The West continues to accuse Tehran of secretly pursuing nuclear weapons, while Iran insists it only seeks nuclear power for peaceful energy production. Against this backdrop, Khamenei's uncompromising tone signals that any renewed diplomacy will face major obstacles, since Iran's leadership is presenting the standoff not as a technical dispute over uranium but as a battle of dignity and independence. For ordinary Iranians, who have endured years of sanctions, inflation, and political repression, these speeches serve both as a rallying cry and a reminder of how high the stakes are. For the region, it highlights the risk that instead of de-escalation, we may be heading toward a deeper confrontation involving not just Iran and the US, but also Israel, Yemen, and Europe. The key question now is whether the upcoming talks in Europe can break this cycle of hostility, or if Khamenei's hardline means the nuclear file is destined to remain a flashpoint in Middle Eastern politics.
راه کمک به اونها بسته بشه. این کاری که امروز مردم شجاع یمن انجام میدن کار درست اونه. محکوم کردن این فایده ای نداره. بایستی راه